You remember when Strain went to North Carolina?
Yeah.
Greg got
Oh,
these
is
the night
this about
before.
this? Oh gosh. You know, I was not expecting all this. I was not expecting any of this.
I'm not really sure what it is about the Mothman prophecies that draws me to it. I'm a big fan of Keel. I really like the way that Keel thought about the phenomena. It's more in line with the way that I'm thinking about the phenomena these days, that all of the stuff is connected and that there's maybe some sort of a trickster vibe with it, that there might be some sort of strangeness that slips through once in a while, and we see that as ghosts or monsters or UFOs, but it's all coming from the same place. I really like that. I think my connection to the Mothman case in general is almost accidental. It's one of the first things that Dana and I wanted to go see. It's the first place we tested our first car. We drove out and we road tested it. We got our first crack in the windshield driving out to the TNT area. And ever since then, it's felt like every big change in our life, we go there. And we go to Point Pleasant. I've never seen the Mothman as a sinister thing. I've almost seen it more as a signifier of change, not necessarily a harbinger of doom. Yeah. I think it's just Mothman and Point Pleasant in general has become like a representation of change. Because we continued to find connections to the Mothman case, because there were connections to Keel, and because we were in the vicinity with Tanya, it just made sense that we go to Point Pleasant. It seemed like Point Pleasant was such an impactful place to be. It was a hub of some of the craziest visitation experiences that had ever happened. It just made sense to go there.
Indrid Cold was an unexpected development in the Hellier case. We're not sure if it was a random one-off coincidence or if it was actually connected to this phenomena as a whole in general. And we kind of understand the fact that the Mothman case is kind of tangential to the Hellier case. It might be part of the same, but we're not sure. But it kept coming up. It seemed significant in season 1. They were dangling threads that the larger phenomena could have been connected with as a whole. And we wanted to make sure that it was thoroughly followed up on. So having the chance to talk to Tanya, having the chance to explore Ashland and follow up on the Terry Riss story. Point Pleasant is the heart of those two places. It's right there in that same area. We wanted to go to the heart of that phenomena from 1966 and 1967 and try to communicate with that and figure out if it was the same phenomena that we've been dealing with from the start.
I mean, I think we literally have a piece of equipment that's designed to enhance latent psychic abilities. That's something that I think we could use. We could use the God Helmet. We could use it while doing an Estes method session. It's literally never been done.
No.
Ever.
The other thing you could do too is you could have me doing the God Helmet and someone else doing the Estes method at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, then why don't you be the receiver?
That's fine.
And you be the sender.
Okay. Well, then you have to do is you have to tell me what I need to be sending out.
Perfect. I love it. So we whisper into Dana's ears and we wait for your answers. Perfect. Or whoever's.
And you're right. We need to take something to enhance our possible abilities because we're not going to be able to just sit in the field and be like, tell me the message. So we need to give enhancers.
Well, the dome is built in the shape of something that, like, the domes themselves are like.
It freaks me out a little bit.
Like,
so the session that I would do is 30 minutes.
I mean, that's literally the session.
It's just 30 minutes. That's it. And it
runs. That's how long your thing runs.
Yeah, it just runs for 30 minutes and then it's done.
Okay.
So we wouldn't be in there for, an hour or anything like that. So that at least limits the amount of time that we're spending in the domes. If that was a concern.
How do you feel about this?
I still feel uncomfortable about what I experienced like a year ago, when they shot an image into my mind.
It's a tin can.
Just like the one that I saw. I just saw like a tin can just dropped into my mind. Like an old tin can. With no label. Why is the shoot, Like that's a legitimate thing. Not just for this like filming or like, but that like freaked me out.
Yeah.
And now we're actually going out there specifically asking them to send a message.
Well, we have sent in the last 2-3 days, we have sent emails to Terry Rist. We have sent emails to David. We've sent to Greenfield. We just spent an hour and a half with Tanya. Mm-hmm. The best link we could find to Indrid Cold and that whole crew. And now we're in Point Pleasant. And we're going to put a God Helmet on and we're going to do an Estes method session. What else can we do? The Estes method session we'd done in Hellier on the porch was such a big deal. Like, we'd gotten such interesting information, and even information that seems more interesting the further away we get from the event. Things that are still relevant. So much came out of that, and it seemed like such a special session. We had someone's attention. We wanted to know how we could do that again to maybe get an idea of what the next step now was. So we thought, let's see if we can amplify the response that we got from the original session by using some new equipment that's designed to do just that.
The domes are the place in Point Pleasant where it all started. So it feels like a very good spot to do an experiment like that. It's funny. I almost feel as if when you're in Point Pleasant, it was as if Mothman was visiting Point Pleasant. But the TNT area and the domes feel as if it's his space. Like that's where he was. That was his. He wasn't in town. He could kind of hide out there. So I still kind of feel that energy there, and I feel as if that's where it's really concentrated for the most part, and it's still consistently concentrated. I don't know if that has anything to do with the shape of the domes themselves, like containing energy, or if it's something about the land possibly, but the domes feel like the starting point, and they always feel like the ending point too. So I always like to kind of bring it back to the TNT area.
This is much clearer.
Yeah. Tin can.
So disorienting. So disorienting. So disorienting. Oh shit, dude.
That's true. It's too bad we didn't get it else. Could have had it.
The God Helmet is a device, and it's a tool that we can use, and it essentially helps us trigger similar feelings that people have when they have religious experiences, psychic experiences, and paranormal experiences. So the God Helmet is actually working to get your brain to respond the same way that we will respond to in those types of situations. It's sort of a cheat code in a way. It forces the brain to respond that way.
I'm gonna do this as quick as I can.
The Koren Helmet is a piece of equipment that was developed by Dr. Michael Persinger and Stan Koren from Laurentian University in order to study religious experiences. This was something they've been using since at least the 80s. The way that it works is it takes complex magnetic fields and it pumps them through different hemispheres of the brain in order to stimulate a religious experience. The media has dubbed this thing the God Helmet because it's given so many people visions of God. In a lot of places that are considered holy places, they have higher, stranger electromagnetic fields, and they just figured maybe there's something about these areas that's causing these experiences. And so they created a device that simulates those. It's also been used in lots of psychic experiments, which is something they didn't necessarily anticipate when they were building this thing. They've used it with tons of psychic experiments, with remote viewing experiments with people like Ingo Swann, and they found that when they have the coils arranged in a specific way, They could actually enhance someone's latent psychic abilities to the point where their hits are crazy above where they would normally be.
2, 3. The number 3.
I've worn the God Helmet probably at this point maybe 10 times, so I'm pretty I'm pretty comfortable with it, and I know what to expect. 10 days after, the 10 days that follow wearing the God Helmet, I tend to be a bit spacey and kind of needing to be alone and meditate and spend time in thought. So I wasn't particularly excited about spending the next 10 days being a space cadet, but I also know that, I'm the most familiar with it, so I wouldn't put anybody else through it. If they've never done it before, it can be pretty overwhelming.
7. 2, 7.
So the helmet that Greg and Dana brought out to use is actually the only official non-laboratory model. It was developed by a guy named Todd Murphy with Dr. Persinger's help and his old research files.
It's not an unpleasant feeling, but it's definitely nothing. It's not like my waking state, where in my waking state I observe reality the way that I do. When I do a God Helmet session, it's very different. It feels very different. You kind of feel very removed from everything that's happening around you, and a lot of what you're experiencing is sort of happening. It's strange. It sounds strange, but it's all kind of happening up here. So it's definitely a physical. You physically feel it, and you kind of emotionally feel it.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Think about Connor and Connard. Think about Indrid Cold's family. Think about anyone that might have been part of his mission. That's who we want to make contact with.
There's a gate.
Where is the gate?
Young. Easy.
Easy?
I see a rose.
You see a moose?
A rose.
A rose.
Indrid.
Indrid?
Dome.
What can you tell us about Indrid?
Talk to me.
This is a little new. We haven't tried this before. Who are we talking to? We're trying to make contact with Indrid Cold, his family. We heard there was an accident. We're looking for information.
She called him. The car.
Where are you?
I'm hearing beeps. Da-da-da-da-da.
I see headlights again.
It was like 7 or 8 beeps in a row.
Are you sending Morse code?
Du-du-du-du-du.
That sounds like Morse code.
No.
Oh, it's not Morse code. Where are you?
It's the strangest thing.
I see a face.
Head,
It's not human.
ears.
He's talking about a head and ears, while she's talking about seeing a face.
What kind of face?
It's long.
Pizza man.
Pizza man.
It's long. It's not human.
Hair, 3. Clops.
Hair, 3 clops.
Press. 3. On the deck. Hi, a female voice.
Female voice. You said on the deck.
They were playing Ouija.
They were playing Ouija.
3 of Wands is the card of journeying.
I wonder if that's another dome.
I'm gonna set this card down because it sounds like it's important.
Hee-haw.
Hee-haw.
I feel like somebody's trying to, like, I feel plugged into something.
Are you doing that?
Yes.
Dana,
Gore?
I think that maybe you should ask the questions.
Can you hear me?
Speak.
My name is
Messaging
Dana.
There was a point when it felt like we weren't getting anywhere. We weren't getting much of anything. And so I said, Dana, why don't you ask the questions? And the minute that we did that, it was like a switch went off. Everything became pointed. It was like they were having a conversation.
Calm down. Here.
Can you give us a message? Can you speak to us in the English language?
Trying.
I know you're trying.
The database.
It's a database, isn't it? The code. Absorbing
Keep
information.
talking. Yeah.
Information. Connor said database at one point, and that word was what made me realize what they were trying to explain to me was that there's a database of human English words or potentially other languages that they were trying to use to communicate with us, but the word meant more than just the word. And it was their way of sort of saying the way that we communicate with each other as people, there's a lot in there that doesn't need to be in there. And that each one of these words were sort of this condensed, concentrated thing that was really about communicating emotionally rather than verbally or through language. Can I do better?
That's it.
We're talking to each other right now. I will do better.
Cold.
What should I call you, Loop?
There's do it orange.
With warmth? Warmth.
10-4.
Connor and I began to communicate that way using this database of words, And each one of these words meant 1,000 times more than just the word itself. There were emotions and colors and all sorts of expressive like symbols that were attached to them.
You're speaking in colors.
You seem pale.
I like your language.
Who's quoting this?
Dana.
What?
That's my name.
Just a second, you confused me.
Are you on this planet? Are you on Earth?
In this city.
You're in the city.
It's true talking about.
Where is Indrid?
Circle.
Can we go there?
This is a small time. Low.
You liked families.
Talking is good. 4.
Can you tell us where to go next? Where do we go next?
Schoolyard.
Schoolyard.
Autumn Falls listening.
Otten Falls.
Told ya.
Can you give us a city?
Out of state.
Out of state.
Out of state.
Horse. Who?
Horse.
Talking. Voice. Talking about small.
Should we talk?
Mexican state.
Dana's done. Session's over. Session's over. She's done.
Thank you.
A shiver. The
Thank you.
plant.
Pull him out, Greg.
Ask a really direct question, Dana.
Are you gone?
Boots. Wait.
Will we talk with you again?
Yeah, this has been done.
It's good.
Are you ready?
We'll try harder.
I'm gonna pull him out. You're done, Dana.
Yeah, no.
I hope we can talk again.
Goodbye.
Thank
Get
you.
through. I feel like everything's a lot more faint now.
Yeah. They're gone. They're gone.
He said, I feel like everything's a lot more faint now.
They're all gone. They're gone.
And while I'm in the Estes method, suddenly something happens that I wasn't used to, that I found unusual, in that the words and the signal and even the noise that I was hearing through the headphones just suddenly like notched down in volume.
Which was crazy because there's no way Connor would have known. There's no way. I was even off because I said like, oh yeah, it's like a 30-minute session. It wasn't. It lasted even longer than that. So there's no way he would have known it was over. He just said, I'm not getting anything anymore.
Almost as if the megaphone, the amplifier, that signal that we were boosting out through the domes to these beings, to this phenomena, when her timed session ended.
Once that connection was severed, we were done.
What do you think happened?
I think you turned into an antenna, is what I think.
I just had a full-on conversation with an alien. But here's the thing. They don't talk like we do. They talk with emotion. They translate emotion into words. And that's why it's hard to understand what they're saying. They use pictures, they use colors. I wasn't understanding it here. I was understanding the symbols emotionally, and then I would say something to you and you'd be like, you said 10-4. Like I figured, like...
Her session ended and we let her keep asking questions. And what was so funny is like 2-3 minutes after the session ended, you said something like, I felt like everything just got murky.
And
It did.
I couldn't hear them anymore.
I sat there.
Yep.
I couldn't feel them anymore. That's a better way to put it.
The whole antenna and the words just
Drifted
I
away?
was really stretching to hear anything.
It was
Because-
right after her thing.
That's awesome.
But
So much
I
very.
didn't
but
even
it-
think about
I
that
felt like-
correlation.
I
at
felt
all.
like it just, my feelings stopped.
We sat and watched a conversation unfold between two people. A person and something else. It was really striking, but I think the domes themselves added to this strange ambiance where everything just seemed ethereal in a lot of ways. I felt like we were in someplace else.
As we're compiling this research and this information over the last year, there's a trend I started to notice of bridges and borders. I know in the East Coast that there's a lot of state boundaries that are defined by rivers. And of course, back in the old days, at the time, rivers, of course, are a big mode of transportation. So if you're going to have a city center, it's going to be on a river so that you can trade and travel very easily. But there's this strange trend, especially these days, when there's cities and towns all over the place now, throughout the state. They don't hang out only along these river borders anymore. And we keep seeing this consistently, bridges and borders. Point Pleasant, West Virginia is a border town with a bridge. Stillwater, Minnesota, Stillwater Bridge. It's a border town along a river. Ashland, it's a border town with a river and a bridge. There's these consistencies that keep popping up. And even Tyler Strand points out that there's some symbolism there, that a bridge is going from one place to another. It's a transition type of place. It's a place where you're entering something new. And he's pointed out a number of times as well that you get enough people traveling over this one bottleneck spot, thinking about transitioning. There's the signs, welcome to this next state. It's transition. This thought is continuously being projected onto this space. Maybe it becomes a space of transition. Maybe it becomes almost a doorway or a window to another place.
That we're about to move into the next chapter. That's what it feels like. I really truly feel as if this week has been the final kind of 2 pages of the last chapter, and now we're about to move into the next one.
If there are 2 main locations that are connected with Terry Wrist, One of those was the location where he met Indrid Cole, Ashland, Kentucky. The other were the coordinates that he sent to Greg and Dana. Greg and Dana always associated those coordinates with where they were on Brown Mountain, that cave entrance. But when we plugged the coordinates in, they were actually at a spot a couple miles away. Seemingly middle of nowhere. Tyler Strand, when he had a couple of days off between his school semesters, he decided to go to those coordinates himself and see what was there, to finally go to the exact spot where those coordinates were. The night before he left on that journey, Greg got a new email that changed the framing of this entire case.
I mean, I've been waiting for this since we started putting the articles up, and nothing like this has come in.